What's up? It's your girl Lynn, and I am in the building. Literally, coronavirus. Listen, so I have a story time to share with you guys. So before we do anything or you go any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, make sure you like and you comment. All right. Well, let's get into it. So, this story time is going to shock a lot of you, and it's probably going to hurt some of you, simply because you didn't know. But let me reassure you something of this. Sometimes we go through stuff and we don't tell nobody. Sometimes we're going through our own trials and situations and we don't tell nobody. Sometimes we're embarrassed to tell people what we're going through. Sometimes it's too hard. Sometimes we're not mentally there. Sometimes you go through battles and you're just worried about how people are going to judge you and everything. And, what I have to say to that is that's going to happen. But regardless, you have to be okay for yourself. You have to worry about yourself. You have to take care of yourself. So, what I have learned through this process is that you have to push through, and that I have hurt a lot of people in this process, including my own mother, my own father, my siblings. My brother took me to the hospital and didn't know why he was taking me to the hospital. My best friend, my cousins, people that are close to me that I could have said something to and I did not. I hope that me telling my story will help someone else, because believe it or not, it's a lot of people that hold things inside and wait until disaster happen or trials happen or anything like that. So we're going to go ahead and get into the video. On March the 17th, 2020, I gave birth by the way of the emergency C-section to my baby girl, Mia. Let's back it up a little bit, because I know you're like, we're missing a piece of the story here. Okay, so yes, I was pregnant. Yes, I did not tell anyone but my children's father. So yeah, I went through the process without telling anyone. I wasn't sick, so I was pretty much okay. I didn't get prenatal care, which that's like a whole different video. Please make sure you get care. I don't care if you're embarrassed. I don't care if you have guilt and shame. I don't care if, whatever the case may be, make sure that you take care of yourself, that you take care of your baby, because you are putting both of your lives at risk when you do this. Now, with my daughter Lola, I had a lot of issues. So I was scared to go to the doctor. I was scared to go through the pregnancy again. So yeah, I made the decision not to tell anyone, and it wasn't a good decision. And if I could go back, I would go back. However, I can't go back. So here we are. So on March the 14th, I went to Painting with the Twist. Just going with my cousins and my family, having a good time. While I was there, surrounded by all of my cousins, my auntie, my uncle, I felt a little gush gush. I'm like, what is this? So I ran to the bathroom and I was leaking something. Like, oh my God, this never happened to me. My other children were scheduled to go to the hospital and have them. So this was new to me. So I was leaking some gush and just nasty stuff, right? So no one knew. My cousins were trying to take pictures. I'm like, I can't take no pictures right now. I need to be going, you know. By the time I got to the car to leave and to pick up my children, I was soaking wet. I went home, took off my clothes, and I Googled. Like many people, we Google stuff. So I was Googling. It said your baby possibly could have pooped in your water. Okay. It said you need to get to the hospital right now. You know, Google. It said you're about to die. You know how Google do, right? When you Google your own symptoms, what can happen? So I went to sleep. Woke up the next morning. I went to church. I drove. Now, I was leaking stuff. Stuff came out. Found out it was my mucus plug. Stuff came out. I went to church. I was in pain. Because I was leaking stuff, I didn't want to sit in our lovely church chair. So I sat in the back of the church, away from everyone. I kept getting asked, "Are you feeling okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm leaking stuff." People not clicking in their head, "What is she leaking?" They probably thought, I don't know, it's a cycle. No, whatever. So I'm in pain. I immediately leave at the church. I go take a bath. I'm like, well, I can't go to the hospital today because I didn't take off work for tomorrow. I'm gonna have to go to work tomorrow. Well, I work from home. So Monday hits. I'm working. I'm in pain. Didn't tell nobody. Couldn't tell nobody. I'm leaking more stuff at this point. So at this point, I'm like, okay, let me tell somebody. So, I reach out to my cousin. I'm like, what is this? She like, is that what's wrong with you at Paint with a Twist? Because I told her I was in pain. I had to go. I didn't tell her why. And so I, Tuesday was even in more pain. I mean, very much couldn't even barely say a sentence without like groaning and being in pain. So I ended up telling my brother, and he told my mom. My mom came over immediately. My little brother took me to the hospital. By the time I got there, I was 4.5 centimeters dilated. She had erupted me. My blood pressure was super high. They were like, you're going to have a C-section. I immediately started screaming, no. Simply because, number one, I'm alone. Their dad was at work. Number two, my mom was at home with the kids. She don't know that y'all about to give me a C-section. Number three, my little brother just brought me here, and he don't know why he brought me here. And he left me. Like, he just dropped me off. He didn't really know. He came back. And he was in the waiting room. They did not let him back due to COVID-19. Now, this is a whole nother thing. So, I didn't have a choice in the matter. My blood pressure was high. The baby was under stress. It was either get your life saved or worry about the fact that nobody is here right now. So, of course, as they are pushing me down to the C-section room, when I say it went like that, it went like that. The first time that I had my oldest daughter, my mom was in the room with me. The second time, their dad was in the room with me. So I'm like, I'm about to go to this room by myself. I'm literally texting my mom while they're pushing me down. I'm like, C-section now. That's all I had time to tell her. The nurse took my phone, put it in her pocket. So regardless of the fact, what I wanted, it was getting done. So then immediately I started feeling numb. I was trying to cough and I couldn't cough. I couldn't breathe. I'm like, help me, it was just crazy. It was all a blur. I was by myself. The nurse, let me tell you, when she took my phone, she said, listen, I'm going to put your phone in my pocket and I'm going to be with you the whole way. I know that you're by yourself right now. We cannot allow anyone in here. Your brother is out there, but he cannot come back. She said, I'm going to be with you this whole way. And she literally was there the whole entire thing. Like, she held my hand the whole time. In that moment, you like, I'm alone, I'm by myself. I can't call nobody. I can't tell nobody, what's going to happen if something go wrong. You have a lot of thoughts, but at that moment, you just have to calm down and get through it. And so, I heard my baby cry, and I'm like, they're like, it's a girl. I'm like, no. I already have 2 girls. But they were like, it's a girl. Immediately, she went from crying to I didn't hear her cry no more. And then I'm like, well, what happened? Where's she at? And they're like, just calm down, just calm down. And so they immediately start preparing to, get me back together. So I'm in a lot of pain, and I am, scared, because I'm like, okay, well, why did she was crying and then stop crying? And then, with my other 2, immediately after getting the C-section, I was brought my baby. Like, like it's no, like you're immediately brought your baby in the recovery room, as they call it. No, they took me to a room, a real room. They took me there, and no word of my baby. So at this point, I was very scared, crying, frustrated. I'm alone, so I can't really inquire what's going on, because also I'm on like whatever the anesthesiast gave me, like, so it's a lot. So the nurse reassured me that my baby was in the NICU, um and that when I was able to, I would see her. Eventually they had told me that the baby had caused an infection in herself as well as in me, because she used the bathroom in my water. And this is what happened. Meconium aspirating syndrome is a type of breathing problem. Meconium is the dark green feces, aka stool, that the baby makes before birth. The meconium is passed while the baby is still in the womb, and this causes the lungs to be blocked, the airway, and causes part of the lungs to collapse. Trap air inside the lungs and cause them to expand too much, and it causes irritation of the lungs and increase the risk of lung infection. Sepsis in newborns is an infection in the blood that can spread to other parts of the body. It's usually due to an infection in the placenta. Persistent pulmonary hypertension. It's when a newborn circulation system doesn't adapt to breathing outside the womb. And this is due to infections, lung problems, or meconium aspiration. So, everybody know that right now the coronavirus is going around, and there's so many people that's passed away and everything, and they're taking extra precautions. So at the hospital, you only can get one person that can come see you when you're giving birth. Honey, first my mom was there, because like I said, her dad was at work during the time, and they were saying she was declining, she wasn't doing good. So my mom went back there, and then eventually they got the switch where he got to come, which that was a whole nother video, a whole nother story, due to someone happening to listen to the president. And of course, it's to protect her, and everything. But at the time when you're going through it, when they say, you can't have visitors, or they say you can't come see your baby, because there was times where I had a fever because I had an infection in my incision. They wouldn't let me see her, and I literally broke down crying. It was very bad, and they kept testing her for the virus, because they kept focusing on the fact that I had a fever, even though my doctor verified that it wasn't due to that. They kept taking the precautions, and of course, when it's happening and they put your baby in isolation, you can't see her for days and days. We, you're upset, you're angry, and everything, and you're just like mad. I was literally mad, but I do understand that they were just trying to protect her and everything, but they kept testing her, and she kept being negative. Of it was just like, when it was happening, it was just like too much. And She spent the whole first month of her life in the hospital. She was on a ventilator. And then she moved from the ventilator to the little nasal thing. And then she moved from that. And she just kept going to step by steps. And she had a CPAP machine. She went through a lot. And when you're looking at all the machines and you're not understanding what the doctor's saying, they're saying, she's not getting better. We don't understand why she's not getting better. At this point, she should be improving. When they use certain words and you're already emotional, you already can't see her. It's a lot that goes on. I don't wish this on no one. Your child being sick and you can't do anything about it. And you blame yourself. Well, had I got care, this would have happened. I'm going through all of this and I really can't talk to no one because nobody know I'm here. It's a lot. And she just went through a lot. She was very sick, and I'm going to share her journey with you because God is so good and He's so awesome. When I couldn't get to her, my mama took her prayer oil and she prayed for her and she put oil on her, and the oil got to stay by her bed. There was some nurses that put oil on my baby, and I had asked them, I'm like, could my apostle come pray for her? They like, no, unless he's the one visitor that you want to get. I'm like, the priest can't even come to the hospital. This COVID is really serious. And a woman that is going through birth right now during this time is crazy because you already have precautions, but if your child gets sick, it's even more, and it's just a lot. And so we've been praying for her and praying, and it just seemed like when we prayed she would do better, and then we'll take steps back, and then we're praying she'll do better, and then we'll take steps back. And it's just been a long journey, but I thank God because He's faithful. And I will pray, and I will play her worship music, and I will, put the oil on her. I will pray for her and everything. I could not hold my baby. The first time I held my baby was like 2 weeks after. And that first time that I held her, she still had on like gear and everything from the CPAP machine. And it's like to see how far she came because she was really sick. And when I tell you that, I just kept just giving it to God. Even when I was questioning, well, why is the doctor saying that? Or, wavering and everything, because what they were saying and what was going on just didn't match. But God, He moved miraculously, and she was getting better. And then they went from saying, she's not improving to, oh my goodness, she's doing so good, come get her. When they was like, come get her, I was like, I'm on my way. They were running to see her, when she was born 9 pounds, so she was a big baby. And they're not used to getting big babies, so they loved on my baby. Those nurses really loved on my baby. They were playing her music, putting her in a swing, dressing her up, giving her bath. She came home with so many blankets and donated stuff, and I'm just like, y'all would just try to steal my baby. But it's been a long journey, and she's home, and I thank God, and He's faithful. And wherever you are and whatever you're going through right now, I want to encourage you to give it over to God. Sometimes you are faced with trials and tribulations, but those tribulations and those trials are going to make you. I never thought that I would be going. I literally was probably crying every single day, and sometimes I just look at her and still cry. You know, she's only been discharged for 2 days, but God is faithful, and she's home with me, and she's safe, and she's with my other girls, and you know, I just thank God. But the journey was long. It felt forever. Every time I had to go there, I had to sanitize my hands. I had to get answered the questions. Did you cough? Do you have a fever? Have you come in contact with anyone that have this? Have you traveled out the United States? No, we're on lockdown. The world is on lockdown right now. I have not traveled in these last couple of days. I just gave birth. You know, all of these things you want to say, but it's precautions. You know, they have to take these measures right now. And when it happened, you know, you're irritated and all of that, but it's for your own safety. And I just thank God because I survived giving birth during a pandemic, COVID. And when I say that it was other babies in there that were probably sicker than her. Um, she had an IV in her arm and her stomach, but it was a baby with an IV in the head. You know, you have to thank God because somebody else could have a situation worse than you. And you know, I thank God for what He has done in her life, and that I pray that He continues to do it, and that He continue to move every time I prayed with her and I read her books and I sung her songs and I played worship music, and every time that I did that, I kept telling God, she belongs to you. I'm just a vessel. Regardless if I wanted to be the vessel, regardless if I deserve to be the vessel, regardless if anything, she belongs to you. Stay focused. I had to stay focused, or else I would have probably went crazy in there because a lot happened. You know, like a lot happened. Like they tried to say I tested positive for crack cocaine. Like I'm looking like there's no way. There's no way. Lady never came and apologized, but need I say more? God, He knows what He's doing, and He's faithful, and He's just, and He's merciful. And I just thank God, and I love Him, and I praise Him, and I give Him Charlie, I give Him Lola, and I give Him Mia. Whatever He wants to do in their life, I'm going to teach them to serve and to love God regardless. That is my purpose, is to teach them to love God, Jesus Christ, to tell them God is faithful and He's good. So I'm going to allow you to see her journey, and I just pray for people who have been affected by COVID-19. I pray for people who have lost someone. I pray for everyone that's going through it. I thank God for those who have recovered. Um, it's crazy, but stay at home and listen to what they say. Not just for you, but for other people. Because when they kept saying, we're testing her for COVID, I'm like, well, if she got it, it's because somebody there got it. Because we ain't been around her. Y'all keep isolating her. She's in a glass where we can't touch her. You know, it's different things. You know, I was having a fit, and I had to tell them, look, I'm not mad at you, but this is a lot. You have a sick child on top of a pandemic. It's a lot. But I understand that you guys are doing your job. So, it is a lot. But we're home. She's safe. And she's better. I took her to the doctor today. He said, considering the fact that she was so sick, she's doing so good. And I just have to thank God for that, because nobody can get the glory but Him. I thank God for the people that prayed, that knew, that prayed. God is good. He's awesome. And yeah, that's my story. And I'm sticking to it.
Mia?